Yes, EFD squad, and welcome back to Euro Roundup with Pat and I. His bus has arrived. He was late for winners and losers this morning, but he saved all his finest quips and energy for this show, haven't you, mate?
I've always got so much energy. I've got a surplus of energy, as everyone knows. And I'm going to need it because it's a big one today. We start with Real Madrid. This comes from @HazKarim.
Big thank you to him as well. He supplied me with some stats. I was hungover. I sent out a little SOS and he answered it. So, muchas gracias.
Well, if you want a job, let us know because Chris is dangling by a thread. Seriously, he's going to quit any minute now. I can feel it. But anyway, Real Madrid, they beat Granada 4-0 this weekend, so they're still level with Barcelona on points. 86 they've got, but they do have a game in hand, and that's why we think they're winners. Now, Zidane made 9 changes to the team that beat Atletico Madrid.
Such a good bench.
He's done this so much over the last few weeks. In fact, Cristiano Ronaldo's hardly played, but it helps when you've got an incredible supporting cast in your squad. James Rodriguez and Alvaro Morata both scored 2 goals each either side of half-time. Morata now has 20 goals this season. 20 goals, that's one every 80 minutes. He's got a shooting accuracy of 60%. Incredible figures. I mean, it really does look like he's primed to take over from Benzema when the Frenchman eventually...
He's in the ascendancy, right? They're the best figures of his career so far.
It's absolutely... Well, they're phenomenal figures for absolutely anyone. He could do whatever he wants. The question is whether he's going to stay, because you don't think that he's going to take these backup minutes for much longer.
Role, yeah.
James Rodriguez, meanwhile, who we basically almost forgotten about because he hasn't been played in the big games this season that much. He's been involved in more goals than any other midfielder in Spain this season. He's got 11 goals and 12 assists. There was a 23 pass build-up, by the way, as well, for one of his goals. It was a real team performance. So it's very impressive stuff from Real Madrid because we think about them having a phenomenal first team and maybe not a great bench in recent years, but this season, everyone's been pulling their weight. And it shows they're probably going to be in the final of the Champions League, and it looks like they're going to take La Liga.
Just like as you alluded to, I mean, this B-side that people have labelled it have played together so often this season. That fluidity is still there. 23 passes for that James Rodriguez goal. Amazing stuff. And even forgotten man Fabio Coentrao got a run out yesterday. He had only clocked up 79 minutes in the league prior to this, and he actually popped up with an assist. A lovely cross for that second goal. But as good as Real Madrid were, El Grana, as they have been all season, were absolutely dismal. Tony Adams made his first substitute in the game after 18 minutes.
Bold tactical move.
Comical stuff. That guy won't be playing there next season. Well, I don't think Tony Adams will be there next season. Anyway, but the fans, they weren't sympathetic towards Granada whatsoever. They were bombarding them with chants of mercenary and some very choice words that need no translation, Pato. Let's just say that. But I think Granada, when they go back to League One, will be organising from the top down. Anyway, on loan China-bound striker Adrian Ramos was actually the home side's most dangerous outlet. He took 4 of Granada's 13 shots, with 2 coming on target. He really tested Casilla at the end with 2 stinging efforts. And poor old Guillermo Ochoa in goal, mate. He made 4 saves on the night as well as conceding 4, and he's now saved the most efforts. Last night's game puts him amongst the top 5 goalkeepers in Europe for efforts saved, but you'd expect that because they concede a shitload of shots every single game.
Yes, they do.
But who will finish at the top of La Liga, the summit? Let us know in the comments below.
Our first losers of the weekend come from Italy. It's AC Milan. Oh my God, they had a bad one last night, didn't they?
They certainly did, Pato. They lost 4-1 at home to a Dzeko-inspired Roma, meaning Milan will likely finish 6th, which is a minor improvement on the absolute red and black chaos that was last season. So really, they've not moved on or moved forward in the way they'd probably like to. And that first goal, Dzeko, the connection on that ball, mate, he could have taken the fucking stripes off of a badger, the spots off of a Dalmatian with that kick. Such was the connection. It was absolutely stupendous. But yeah, it was the first time free-scoring Roma have scored 4 goals at the San Siro since 1935. And to make matters worse, Paletta, the centre-back, received a straight red on 85. That's his 4th of the season.
Oh my God.
He is a dirty, dirty bastard. Anyway, Milan did see a lot of the ball, and they pressed relatively well to an extent. They got out wide, they put some decent crosses in. They had 53% of the possession to be precise, but they couldn't live with the pace of Roma's counter-attack, Pato. The away side took a mammoth 24 shots with 10 coming on target to AC's 13 shots. They only had 2 on target. It's really poor in front of goal.
They're lucky to get 1.
They, similar to Napoli, they lured AC in and then just hit them through the centre.
Well, it helps when you take that early lead, doesn't it? Because Milan had to kind of open up to go for the game. And the team you don't want to do that against is Roma, because the pace of Salah on the break and some of Nainggolan's play on the break was absolutely unbelievable, linking together.
Yeah, he's so good at just turning on the ball.
He's so good, so strong as well.
But AC Milan faced 17 shots in the first half alone.
Jesus.
17. That is a record for both shots taken and conceded in 45 minutes of Serie A football this season. I watched the majority of this live, I've got to say. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, as you said, Edin Dzeko was probably the star of this game. 2 goals and an assist for the Bosnian. He's now got 27 league goals this season. So he's the first Roma player to reach that number since Enrique Guaita in 1934-35.
Wow, who'd have thought we'd mention that 1934 season twice in one show?
What are the odds?
Vintage.
That's absolutely insane. He's now got 36 goals in all competitions this season. That's his best season since Wolfsburg, I think, in 2008, 2009. So the question will be, who comes out on top when Juve play Roma, which I believe is in the next couple of weeks. Will it be him or will it be Higuain? Let us know actually what you think in the comments below.
Good shout.
Now, he wasn't just a goal scorer on the night, though. He was also the focal point of the team. He won 9 headers. He laid on 3 key passes for his teammates, setting up Perotti, setting up Salah, linking in with Nainggolan.
Can I just say about Perotti, is that the worst tattoo in football? He's got a boot and a ball on his neck. It's huge. It's disgusting.
Get the cover up done, mate. Sort it out. But anyway, Roma, 6 consecutive Serie A away wins now. Their best record to date. Very, very good for the Giallorossi. But Milan tumbling down the table. Montella needs to pull up quick.
Our next winners takes us to the Bundesliga, specifically to the Westfalen Stadion, Pato, where Dortmund beat Hoffenheim 2-1.
Yeah, there were goals from Royce and Aubameyang. I know a late Kramaric penalty for Hoffenheim made things a little bit edgy. This was a big win for Dortmund, and they were mostly dominant. They leap from 4th to 3rd. They go over Nagelsmann's men, and they've got a 2-point cushion on them now as well. So it looks like they've got that 3rd place wrapped up. Now in this game, it was quite interesting. They were prepared to let Hoffenheim have the ball. Hoffenheim had 58% of possession. But while Hoffenheim made 460 passes to Dortmund's 296 in this game, only 21% of their passes came in Dortmund's defensive third.
Tiki-taka, meaningless possession.
When they got forward, they couldn't actually get into the dangerous zone. Whereas Dortmund, 44% of their completed passes came in the final
That's a great stat, by the way.
They know how to pin you back and really hold you in a position you don't want to be. The 6 most common passing combinations in this game were all between Hoffenheim's defenders and goalkeeper.
Doesn't really bode well, does it?
All around the back, just pure possession around the back. So Dortmund really had them where they wanted them for most of the game. It was a relatively simple win, and actually it could have been bigger.
From meaningless possession to being decisive, there was one man on the pitch who specialises in the latter, isn't there? And it's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who now has 29 goals in 30 league games this season. Wow. Let's just stop and appreciate that for a second. But yeah, and 37 in 43 in all competitions. The guy is having a hell of a season, despite actually missing a penalty in the game. That's the 3rd he's missed out of his last 4 attempts. I think someone else needs to go on them. Raf Guerrero's not bad at penalties, is he?
No,
I'm not sure. But only Lothar Emmerich, who scored 31 goals in the 1965-66 season, has scored more goals in a single BL campaign for BVB than Aubameyang. So yes, he could be he's on the cusp of making history, isn't he? And with Champions League football and a DFB Pokal final, it's been a great season overall for Dortmund. But it's been marred a little bit, hasn't it? In the aftermath of this game, it did get a little bit weird. Vodska, the CEO, Hans-Joachim Vodska, came out and gave an interview this weekend where he admitted there is bad blood between himself and Thomas Tuchel, and he seemed quite evasive on the topic, didn't he? Especially when it came to broaching the conversation about extending his contract, Tuchel's. Sure. So, Patos, please, because, you know, he's edging towards that move to Arsenal, no?
Well, if any club is looking for a new manager this summer, then Thomas Tuchel looks like he's going to be on the market. But who would he suit? Should he go to Arsenal? Might PSG be looking for a new coach?
Probably.
What if Simeone were to leave Atletico Madrid and go to Inter Milan? Where do you think Tuchel should end up next, and will he leave Dortmund? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Our next losers are Nice. What happened to them this weekend?
Yes, heading over to the south of France now, Pato, where Nice lost 2-1 away from home to Marseille, with goals coming from Bafétimbi Gomez, who was the captain, which is pretty surreal, and Paddy Evra in what was only his 3rd ever goal in league and football. And this leaves them 9 points adrift of champions-elect Monaco and 6 points away now, more importantly, from 2nd place PSG with only 3 games to play. It's now mathematically impossible for them to win the title, and highly unlikely they'll catch Emery's men, who battered Bastia 5-0. Which is a shame, because Lucien Favre's men have spent 110 days, I believe, at the summit of French football, and Balotelli's netted his 15th league goal of the season. It's been his best season, from a personal point of view. People like Alexander Player have really come along, haven't they? So there's been a lot of pluses, but they've just fallen by the wayside at the tail end of the season.
Well, yeah, Player's injury back in February has really put a dampener on their season. He'd scored 11 goals in 22 games
attacking midfield, yeah,
up until that point, and so it was a real hole for them to fill when he went. Belhanda, by comparison, who's taken his place since, has only managed 3 goals in 23 games. Wow. So you see that they don't have the depth of squad that obviously PSG do, and even Monaco have. But on the other hand, for Marseille, Dimitri Payet had a very, very good night, completed 3 dribbles, 4 key passes, assisted the opener from a corner. Rudy Garcia has been doing very, very well with Marseille. Well. They're now up to 5th, they're unbeaten in 9. And when you consider what a basket case this club was very, very recently, you know, Franck Passy, Michel, it was very, very
relegation candidates.
Well, yeah, you were worried about what would happen to Marseille. But the new owners have come in, they've said that they're going to spend 200 million euros, and they're kind of making good on that so far. The question is how wisely they spend it. But for now, they've knocked Nice out of the title race. But who is going to win that title? There's a poll right up there. Will it be Monaco? Will it be PSG? Let us know what you think.
Our next winners were suggested by my old pal Abdul Rahman on Twitter, and he thinks Lazio deserve to be in there. Why is that, Pat?
They absolutely battered Sampdoria. They battered Sampdoria 7-3.
It's a cricket score.
They're now nailed on pretty much for 4th place. They're not going to get caught, but they're also not going to catch any of the top 3. But this has been a good run for them. They beat Roma, their local rivals, 3-1 last weekend. They beat Palermo 6-2 the one before that. So they are in hot form. They were 1-0 up in the first couple of minutes. Keita managed to grab a goal, and then Samp had Skriniar sent off after 18 minutes, which also gave Lazio a pen. So this was pretty much sewn up very early on. By half-time, it was 5-1 to Lazio. They had 19 shots to Sampdoria's 8. This was utter dominance. It was an absolute battery.
Yeah, high quality chances as well, Pato. 11 of those 19 shots came from inside the box. That is mental. While Sampdoria only had 5 by comparison. Keita now has 6 goals in his last 3 games. Now, he's been touted, hasn't he, for a big move this season. He's a really promising young player. And apparently, according to EFD sources, yes, we have sources, he may be moving to Sevilla.
Yeah, there are rumours of some sort of...
It's a very Monchi-esque move, but
yeah,
what do you put that in place before he left? Who knows? Anyway, Simone Inzaghi now has a 61.5% win ratio at Lazio. That's better than Mourinho at Manchester United and 8% better than Pochettino at Spurs. To say he's adjusted to life in the capital comfortably is an understatement. But yeah, with Spalletti leaving Roma, could Lazio be right back in the top 3 race next year? Not for the title, because...
No, they haven't got a shot, let's be honest.
Yeah, let's be honest. But top 3? I don't know. Let us know in another poll. 2 polls. Up there. Yes.
Our final losers of the week are the FIGC, the Italian Football Federation. Now, Chris, explain to the viewers why they're in here.
They're in it for their dithering, for their lack of decisive action. I mean, you must have all seen it 2 weeks ago. Sulley Muntari, who plays for Pescara, was racially abused in a Serie A game. Now, when he complained to the referee about his treatment, and rightly so, that shouldn't be happening while he's just trying to go about his day-to-day job, he received a yellow card. And then, dumbfounded by the referee's inability to take decisive action, to be empathetic towards one of the professionals he's sharing a pitch with, he walked off the pitch and received a second yellow. Now, subsequently, he received a 1-match ban for being the subject of racial abuse. Now, that was overturned this week, which is why we're including it. But we've put the FIGC in there because it's taken them this long to reverse the decision. Now, at the time, they called the racist abuse deplorable, like any self-respecting organisation should. But they said they couldn't impose sanctions on the team in question, because only approximately 10 supporters were involved, fewer than 1% of the supporters were in the ground. Now, even 1% isn't good enough, is it? What are your thoughts on it?
The thing is, I don't think it is. You said at the beginning that it was kind of inexplicable, and I know what you mean, as in it seems like insane, but it's not inexplicable. The fact is that this does go on all the time. We see it all the time. There are racist people, and some of those racist people are football fans, and when they go to football matches, they say racist things. It's completely inexcusable. We've seen it in Russia, certainly. We see it in Spain, in Italy. We've seen it in Scotland. A little bit less in maybe Germany, France, and England, but it's definitely there too. Now, as you said, Muntari has had this 1-game ban overturned, but he said the ref lacked the balls to stop the game, which is what he should have done. And frankly, I think we probably are going towards decisive action. I think that at some point players are going to strike or something, because the fact that this is still going on is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway, afterwards he just sounds like he's in a complete state of shock. You know, he said he's been treated like a criminal. He's been the one being punished, despite the fact that he was the one who was abused. But he did say, I hope that my case can help football move forward, which is kind of insane to me that he said that he's basically said that he understands this sort of abuse. He's willing to go through it if it improves football. I mean, that's a crazy thing. That's a crazy thing for him to say. Like, I can't believe that sort of selflessness. But anyway, Sulley Muntari, it's an absolute disgrace what's happened to him, and the FIGC should be ashamed, as should Cagliari. Action needs to be taken. It needs to be taken soon.
Right, time for some quick shout-outs now, Pato. What do you have?
I've got one from @Sven, who says Copenhagen, who went 32 games unbeaten this season. Absolutely mental. And Lewis Emsley, he says Feyenoord, they lost 3-0 this weekend. It's only 1 point in the league difference now, with Ajax, who won to keep the pace up.
Yeah, we did discuss that a little over on FD, on winners and losers. So go and check that out if you haven't already. And I've got a couple here. @Liam Stewart thinks Liverpool should be in our losers for drawing with their feeder team. Ooh.
Spicy.
And spicy. And @Sam Evans thinks Brighton should be in there after Grealish's 89th minute goal stopped them winning the title. Now, they were 7 points ahead, weren't they, with 3 games remaining?
Something like that.
So they've absolutely bottled it. So yeah, deservedly so. But Pato, what should the fine people do next?
Well, they should stay right here on Euro Football Daily and check out this week's Stat Wars. Chris returned after that week where Zach Jella was, for some reason, allowed to come on the show and put in a very good performance. Check it out right now.
He's decent, actually. He's decent. And as ever, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Catch you next time.